Hi, my name is Stephanie and I have autism. So today I wanted to talk to you a little bit about it. This video is not scripted, so hopefully it won't become a large mess. But I just wanted to sit down and talk to you about this because it is a part of my life. I was recently diagnosed with autism spectrum disorder. Autism is a spectrum, which means that you can have it in like varying degrees, basically. So a lot of people, if I were to say, I have autism, they think there's no way you have autism. You're not sitting there like going like this the whole time. Okay, that not all people with autism are stimming 24/7. Not all people with autism are nonverbal. Okay, so just have an understanding that when you are talking about autism, it is a very big spectrum. Technically, I have high functioning autism. The person who diagnosed me said that they would have preferred to be able to diagnose me with Asperger's, but Asperger's was actually kind of absorbed into the autism spectrum like 5 years ago. So technically it is no longer a diagnosis, and so I've been diagnosed with autism. That does not mean that I'm stupid. It just means that I think differently than you do. My brain works differently than yours does. Some things that you think are odd, I think are perfectly normal, and things you think are perfectly normal, I think are odd. We see things differently. That's pretty much it. And sometimes I have different needs than you do. So sometimes I need things like pressure, not not like stress pressure, but like physical pressure. Because I guess sometimes my brain just does weird things and needs that. Sometimes I do something called stimming, which is I'm not going to go into like the definition of it, but stimming, you might see me rock back and forth, or sometimes I do this with my hands when I'm nervous or I'm really excited. So sometimes my way of expressing something is just different than what's like socially normal. Sometimes I just have a little bit more trouble than you do reading social cues. I can learn those things. I can. It just doesn't come to me as naturally as it might come to you. So I just wanted to tell you guys a little bit about it. It's not some like scary thing. It doesn't really change anything. I'm still me. It's not like I magically became someone else when I got a diagnosis, but it does explain a lot of my life, and it does also help me to know things that might help me, that people didn't know how to help me before. Now I have things that I can learn about that can help. But what it will affect on this channel is that I want to talk about it a little bit in some of my videos. This channel is not just going to be like taken over by like all things autism, Asperger's, whatever. But I do want to talk about it. It is a part of my life, and I think that a lot of people are ignorant to understanding what it is, and I think it would help to bring awareness to it. So just like I have a pretty big variety of videos on my channel. I do weight loss stuff, I do Christian topics, I do sometimes like music stuff, I do story times, and now I'm gonna also be talking about things related to autism, high functioning, and Asperger's and stuff like that, and that's just part of my life, just like everything else. So if you're concerned that it's like all gonna be about this, not really. I will say that I am not sure how this is gonna be received. I'm not looking for you guys to like start a prayer group and pray that I get cured or healed from autism. I think that God made us how he made us, and that we have weaknesses and strengths. And I believe that this may be both for me. Sure, I'd love to not have meltdowns, and I'd love to not be overwhelmed with things that maybe you're not overwhelmed with. But if that meant taking away the way I think as well, I don't know that I'd want that. I don't want to necessarily think like you think. I say you as in people who maybe don't have something like autism spectrum disorder. Honestly, I find interest in the whole neurotypical neuroatypical neurodiversity argument, whereas they would say something like Asperger's autism and stuff like that is just your brain working differently. And I think that's true. I do think that it can lead to some side effects that aren't great, like being overwhelmed or doing things that just look weird to other people. But I also find joy in things that maybe you don't find joy in. I like the rhythm of certain words. That might sound weird, but I don't think it's wrong to find joy in things like that. If it's not socially normal, like, who really cares? I don't think that's wrong. I don't think that means, like, I have some terrible disease that I need to be healed from. And I want to say that God can still use me. I'm not broken in a way that I can't be used. It's not like I don't have enough faith because I have autism. It doesn't mean I'm too stupid to be able to do this. Yeah, I get overwhelmed, but God helps me in those things. And I mean, everybody gets nervous. Everybody has these issues. Everybody has an issue or two or three or more, okay? And this might be one of mine. But I know that God uses the foolish things to confound the wise. And if you think that, the things I do or the way I look or the way I sound or sometimes the way I say words, if you think that's foolish, then fine. But may God use me and confound your mind so that you might be changed, that you might see that, yes, people are different and that's okay. We can be different and we can still glorify God and we can still do what He's asked us to do. So I would like to show you, maybe in some of these videos, that even though I have autism and I have maybe obstacles that you don't maybe necessarily face, I can still be used for God's glory. I can still relate in some way to you. It is harder for me in person to relate to people, but I do desire to relate to people. That's really a lot of why I even made this YouTube channel. And I don't know. So I just want to let you know kind of about that. I will be talking about it somewhat. So if you have autism, high functioning, Asperger's, if you have, anywhere else on the autism spectrum, I don't know if, I can't speak a lot more on anything other than high functioning autism, Asperger's, just because I don't have the experience of being anywhere else on the spectrum. But if you have autism or know someone who has autism or Asperger's or something like that, and you're interested in, like, hearing more about it, or if you even suspect that you might have it, like, stick around. I'll make some videos on that. Or if you just are interested in it in general, say hi. Or if you're interested in, like, the other things that I talk about on this channel, again, I'm still going to be doing those videos. This is not just like a channel takeover, but it is something I did want to talk about, and I don't want to be ashamed of it. I don't want to sit here and hide it. Like, a lot of times when I'm stimming or something, when I'm getting overwhelmed, it feels shameful. It feels like I gotta hide it, like people are gonna judge me because of autism or what I'm doing. But I think that's silly. I think that's silly. And so if God made me this way, He made me to think differently than you. I have strengths that you probably don't have, even though I have these weaknesses that you probably don't have. So I think that's fine. I think that God is going to use me in a way maybe He can't use you, and you in a way that He can't use me. So He'll do what He wants to do, and it'll be great. And I hope you guys enjoy the videos that are coming in this month. And thank you for listening to this video. I hope you have a wonderful week. If you enjoy this video, go ahead and give it a thumbs up. Subscribe for more from me in any of these areas that I talk about. And let me know in the comments below your thoughts. If you know anything about autism or anything like that. I don't really need to hear you tell me that I must not have autism because blah, 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 blah. A doctor has diagnosed it. I'm not interested in your opinion. You see me on edited videos, like... So if you're going to go into that, I'm not worried about it. So we don't need to do that. But if you want to comment about, just anything else you are thinking about, go ahead. And I hope you all have a wonderful week. Be watching out for my next videos. I've got something coming that I'm really excited about. Hopefully you'll be excited about. And I hope that you'll enjoy being more a part of my world. And if you're interested in more, just let me know. Sorry for rambling. This is not scripted. Hope you all have a wonderful week. Bye.